We have honored guests in our studio today, and I have to tell you, I'm absolutely overwhelmed. Ordinarily, I'm charmingly articulate and incredibly glib. I can come up with just about anything, but today I'm going to be stumbling all over myself, and I want you to meet the two ladies to my immediate right. First of all, tomorrow, the 4th of November, is Will Rogers' birthday, and I have with me today, I'm going to read this to make sure I'm right, Doris Meyer, who is the great niece of Will Rogers. And Ms. Meyer, you go by the nickname of Coke?
Yes.
Well, here's looking at you. And then Jennifer Rogers Echeverry.
Correct.
Who is the great-granddaughter and family rep all over the country.
Yes. Lucky me, right?
Right.
You know what? I don't see any damage to your shoulders from carrying the Will Rogers mantra all these years. You seem to have handled it very well.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice compliment. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to do it, and it's. I mean,
Her father Jim was a great guy too, and he had a lot to do with the kids growing up like they did, because he saw to it that they were involved with the ranch and with their grandfather and so forth.
Jennifer, you travel a lot.
I do.
But you also take care of the ranch in California, is that
do.
right?
I helped start a foundation to support Will Rogers State Historic Park, which was the ranch that Will lived at the time of his death in 1935. And a few years later, his wife Betty became ill, and she deeded that park to the state of California to act as a living memorial to Will Rogers. And so about 10 years ago, when I got really involved with the family, we saw the state park system suffering in California, so we started a foundation to help support that ranch.
You know, it's incredible. Everybody in this part of the woods, of course, knows of Will Rogers, the favorite son. We all know. A lot of folks here and outside of Oklahoma view Will differently than we do. A lot of folks think, well, he was just some cowboy, bumbling, stumbling, hack newspaper guy. Very shrewd businessman, very shrewd operator, and he understood exactly what he was doing, didn't he?
Oh, you darn right he did. He was
I mean,
very
he
smart.
nailed it. So a lot of people that took him for granted made a mistake. How long did you?
Pardon?
Let me back up. Do you remember Will very well?
Oh yes, yeah. He was in our home, and always we were over at Aunt Sally McSpadden's at Chelsea after my grandmother was gone in 25, and so we'd meet him in Tulsa when he would fly in. We'd sit in the airport manager's office and wait on Uncle Will. And when he got there, he would walk right in and say, "Okay, Gunner, let's go." And he was always ready to keep heading on someplace.
You know, there's a picture of him, and I'm not sure if it's here or California, but he's on a couch, and he's reading. And his wife is on the other end of the couch, and right in the middle of the floor is a horse.
It's a cow.
Is
It's
it
a
a
steer.
cow? I
It's
thought it
yes,
was a
that's in
horse.
California. Yes.
I have trouble distinguishing. Anyway, that was a California picture?
It's a calf. Yes. That's in the California ranch in their front room.
Incredible.
And the kids are sitting around.
I'm also
yes.
told that his home here, that he slept outside a lot on the upper balcony because of the heat, that it would just get so oppressive at night that he'd go outside and sleep on the porch.
Oh yeah, at the ranch.
Yeah.
Well, he had to do that because he said there were too many women folks in there, and he just took his bedroll out on the porch.
What do you remember most about him? What kind of an attitude did the man have?
Oh, he was outgoing, and still he was very modest, and he never projected himself, you know, or pushed or anything. And he'd ask us about our boyfriends and what was going on and how was our team doing. And he was very interested in what we were doing. And we were always there. And then, of course, he was typing out his daily, Will Rogers Says, on his lap, and in the front seat was my dad, and then we would take it to the telegraph office. He'd walk in and pay for it, come out and say, "Okay, kids, let's go." And we'd go to the ice cream parlor, 31 flavors. and we had to decide what do we want. Uncle Will's buying this for us. and so we would do that. And then he and my dad would get there Sundays and go over at a table by themselves so they could visit. And we kids, there were all kinds of kids, because we were on each other's lap to get there, and so we could all go. And we would order, and he would, nod and say, "Come on, order up," and that's what we did.
You know, I wear a button around and have sported this button everywhere just recently that says Will Rogers for president. And I know those are available
I
at the
just
museum.
took mine off.
Yeah, you should have had them
I
on
know.
out here. What a great thought that would have
Yeah.
been. But tomorrow, the 4th, is his birthday, and Claremore has Will Rogers Days going on, of which you guys will be a part.
Oh, yeah.
Big doings, there's parades coming, and
Oh, there's all kinds of things.
a lot.
Tad did a great job
Tad
of getting
Jones,
things
yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
They're even having a birthday cake at the Will Rogers Hotel
Yes.
where I used to live.
Yes, I'm told by the staff at the museum that this is the most packed weekend for his birthday celebration that they've had in many, many years.
I think I know why.
Okay.
I think, honest to God, I know why. I think America's hungry for him right now.
Wouldn't it be great if he was here, Neil?
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't
It'd
it
be
be
wonderful.
something? Do you, and I don't mean to insult you.
Nope.
Please don't misunderstand
No,
my
no, no.
question, but do you realize what a treasure she
Oh,
is?
absolutely, absolutely. Oh, we all just pick her brain and and eat her up as much as we can. Are you kidding?
I would give these chairs,
Oh.
which aren't mine, but I would give anything to be able to sit with her for one morning
Yeah.
and just have coffee and listen.
And you should.
Yeah.
I would love to.
You should.
To find out more. You know, some time back, when I was on a tour at the museum, and they asked me, they said, "Would you like to see the crypt?" I said, "Sure." And they took me down the stairs, opened the iron gate, took me inside, and there's Will and there's Betty. And I went, "Oh, my Lord." And I did it without thinking. I had to put my hand on it. It was one of the most emotional moments of my life. It was as close as I'll ever be to that man. I won't ever forget it.
Wow.
And when I walk through the museum, still, you know, I'm surrounded and haunted by
Yeah.
the spirit of the man.
Yeah.
Did you know when he was writing, did the family know how important his writings were to the country and the world?
Oh, yeah. Aunt Betty knew the best. She really realized what he had up here, and how that he wrote it, and the public picked it right up and understood every word of it. And that's what she valued, that he never changed, and that he always wrote, and everything he said, everybody knew.
I want to ask you a question, and I don't want to drag this down, but for my
Yes.
sake, I need to ask you this. Will's death came as a shock to the world. Not Oklahoma, not the United States, but the world.
The whole world.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, he had
Do
talked
you-
to all these people
Exactly.
in all these countries.
Do you remember where you were? Do you remember what you felt when you got the news that Will had been killed?
Oh, I tell you, we were devastated. The way it happened, it was early morning, and they called us from down at the Bartlesville Enterprise, the newspaper. And Dad went to the phone, and he came back, and he said, "I got to go to the paper office. They got news of Uncle Will." And he walked out and got in his car. And just as he was getting in the car that morning, he turned back and yelled, "Coke, get the radio on. They may have something on the radio." And so he went on to this newspaper office, and they had it coming over a wire, whatever they do. And so he called right back, Tim, and he said, "Bill, it's true. Will Rogers died in Alaska." And so he said, "Get ready and we'll go to California." Right then, he already had his mind made up that they'd go right on out to California. So then I was in charge of the telephone, and it rang and it rang and it rang. And everybody in town started getting there and coming to our house like it was a regular funeral at our house, with the person or something. And everybody just was heart sick. They couldn't believe it. And
Coke, I'm sorry to do this. We're out of time. I am so
You
sorry.
see, you need to take advantage and sit down with her.
I've got to have more
Over
time
coffee.
Yeah.
with you. Listen, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, dear, for taking time. Bless your heart. I feel like I've touched history here. Jennifer,
have, thank
you
you.
be safe. Going
Thank
back
you
and
for having
enjoy
us.
your stay in
Thank
Claremore.
you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Folks, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.